Welcome to a busted play. An illegal use of hands to the face short.
Baltimore Ravens heading to Las Vegas. Just like we talked about yesterday, the Rams get to host their opening game of their special opening stadium event because LA Stadium and Las Vegas' stadium opened the same year. Should have been last year. Now it's this year with actual fans. So the Raiders get a Monday night game to open the season for the second year in a row. Actually, not a spot that they're too unfamiliar with because it used to be that the opening week of the season, we would have those Monday night games in the 7 o'clock slot and the 10 p.m. slot, being one of them on the West Coast, considering the number of teams that actually tend to be further east in the NFL. There wasn't a ton of options, and the Raiders actually ended up on that 10 p.m. game a fairly decent amount. So they're pretty used to playing Monday night opening week, but that's not a big deal. We need to talk about how this game's actually going to go, how these teams are looking. What are you thinking going into this one?
I am intrigued to see how Baltimore is going to operate with this running back situation they have. Now Latavius Murray and Tyson Williams, that's kind of it what they're rocking with for guys that are on the active roster. I don't know if they have a special teams back that it will also be out there, but he would probably get carries as well. I don't think Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell will get elevated to the active roster for that game. It could happen. Those running backs I just mentioned could get hurt before this game with the luck Baltimore has had. But how they operate against a Raiders defense that isn't that good, I mean, I don't have any doubt that Baltimore will win this game. It's just I don't think it will be as convincing of a win as I thought it would have been if you would have asked me 3 weeks ago.
I have to say, I do have reservations about this game.
Oh,
I don't think that this is locked up for Baltimore at all anymore. And even though we're just looking at the running back room, I mean, early in the preseason, we were like, oh dang, they lost Bateman and LJ Fort, and I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. Like, we haven't really done anything yet, and these guys are already gone for like significant periods of time, if not the whole season. It's like, dang, Baltimore's already kind of getting bitten. Then the entire running back core is gone. It's like, holy crap! How did the entire three guys out of the four guys in the running back room
and Marcus Peters.
out for the year, with season like I said, season-ending injuries? It's just wild. It's like it's nothing we've ever seen before, especially at one position. It's almost like, how did that even happen?
Mm-hmm.
As you said, though, the most important injury that has happened so far is Marcus Peters. He's out for the year as well. I have to say, that may be one, in terms of the entire league, I don't think I'm being overdramatic when I say this. Let me change my wording slightly. I was going to say the entire league. Defensive injuries in the league, that is probably as big of a defensive injury for any team as there can be in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The way that team plays defense, I absolutely love the way the Baltimore Ravens play defense. If they do not have two corners that I can trust on an island to man the outside receivers up in Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, this defense is going to get a lot more suspect very quickly. And they're going to have to change how they play defense. That's one of the reasons I love this defense so much year in and year out. One of the reasons they're so fun to watch. They have two of the most athletic, gifted corners that are playmakers when the ball is anywhere near them at all. Losing him changes everything for them on the defensive side of the ball. And I don't think they're still a very well-coached defense, so I think they'll be a solid defense, but it really gives an easy place for the opponents they're playing against to know, hey, we can attack that guy now. Whoever steps in for him is immediately going to be like, that guy is an easy target. Maybe we won't see that this week against the Raiders, just because I feel like the key guys in their offense, speaking not about the quarterback, are Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs, really. So those are the two guys that I would pick out as like keys. And then you can basically just toss the receivers in whatever order you really want because there's a bunch of them that kind of even out. Um, but in the future, that could really hurt the Ravens. And just generally the vibes they got going for them. I don't feel like it's going to be an easy matchup this week, but I got a lot more to go off. But I'll let you react to what I just said first. Sorry.
I think no, that point's great, and I do agree that in other games in the season it will hurt the Ravens, and it just makes the Sean Wade trade for them to New England look so bad because Sean Wade, I mean, showed a lot of talent 2 years ago, stayed for another year, didn't look that great, uh, but he still had the talent to like go out there and cover guys one on one out. I would have to see it at the NFL level, but at least in college he showed that. Then they trade him, so I don't really know what their corner depth is like. Where this really would hurt the Raiders, and this just the Raiders organization killing itself. If John Brown was still on the Raiders, I would probably pick the Raiders to win this game because it'd be John Brown and Henry Ruggs, and one of those guys would be lined up against like their a depth guy that would have to line up against him. And it'd be Henry Ruggs burning him or John Brown using his crafty route running and burning him. But it's going to be Henry Ruggs and Hunter Renfrow and Zay Jones. Like whoever that, I would assume that they would have Marlon Humphrey follow Henry Ruggs, and then the other guys that are out there. Like I don't have a problem with a backup corner covering Zay Jones or covering Hunter Renfrow. Yeah, it's gonna eat. They're gonna eat you up underneath. But I mean, the linebacking core and well, the whole front seven for them is so solid that you're not going to get much off of that. Like you're going to get 2 or 3, 4 yards maybe eating them up underneath. You're not going to score though off of it. So
Yeah. Um, I kind of I kind of started that from a weird point, really, realistically, because I talked about in terms of what I view for the season, that Marcus
mhm.
Peters injury sucks for the season. It changes so much for the future. Week 1, on the other hand, cornerback doesn't really matter. As I said, as I kind of already unfolded that argument of why I don't think the cornerback 2 position matters too much for them, or cornerback 1, depending on. I mean, it's Humphrey and Peters. They're both number ones,
1A,
but
1B.
yeah. But whoever steps in will obviously be the cornerback 2 immediately because Humphrey's better than whoever steps in. Um, but then on the opposite side of the ball, the running backs here, this is something that they can get over during the
Oh
season.
yeah.
This game, I don't know. I really don't know. If I'm the Raiders, they're still going to try to run the ball heavily. So we're going to do 2 things. We're going to try to make it. We're going to load the box, try to make them pass, which is what I feel like most teams' idea is against the
Yeah,
Ravens.
teams know
Because,
how to game plan for Lamar now. It's the same stuff every game.
but the thing is that now on any option plays at all, you are always taking Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's chances for like not big plays in terms of like 80-yard scores or something like that where we may see that's when the Ravens are playing like the Bengals and the Bengals defense is so bad that they're able to have an 80-yard run or something ridiculous. But even just like a 15-yard chunk play that they may be able to get if Gus the Bus is in or J.K. Dobbins is in or who have you. Tyson Williams, that's the correct name, correct?
Yes.
He steps in there. That 15-yard chunk play only becomes a 5-yard play now. That could really hurt them. And I don't love the Raiders defense, but I don't think it's very hard to come up with the game plan for this week with what we know about the Ravens from the defensive perspective. Because of that, I don't know if the Ravens will be able to I think they'll be able to put points on the board. I just don't know if it'll be a ton. And if I'm picking a side of the ball for the Raiders that I'm going to say is a strong suit, I'm going to say that it's the offense all the way. The Raiders may be able to outscore Baltimore this week, especially, and and I wouldn't say that most weeks just because, ball control for Baltimore plus the fact that I do actually expect that drives would end in touchdowns for them usually. I don't know if those two things are guaranteed this week. And I'm almost mad. I'm almost like tempted, even though I have Baltimore written down, I'm almost tempted to pick the Raiders. Like this is gonna be a very difficult challenge for Baltimore, even though Baltimore is one of the teams that I have like in my top 10, and then Las Vegas is in like the mid to low 20s for me.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
think it's
I'm
easy.
the Raiders locked in, and I'm said this when I talked about the Raiders, just for like our own little uh put a microscopic lens on the team and go through them, a little breakdown. I said these first two games that they play between the Ravens or the Steelers, like they're gonna win one of these games. It's gonna be a stupid win. Uh I don't think
Maybe
this
they
would be a
win both.
stupid. Yeah, I don't think this would be a stupid win at this point with just all the injuries, Baltimore. I don't think it's expected either for the Raiders to win. It'd just be one of those wins where if the Raiders pull it out and win it, everyone would be like, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense for them to beat them. But if they lose, I think people would also be like, yeah, it makes sense that the Raiders would lose to the Ravens. But it just and the way the Raiders went about their defense this offseason too, it wasn't really conducive to having not that their whole game plan is like we gotta beat Lamar Jackson to get out of the AFC and make it to the Super Bowl. Uh, but draft three safeties, don't really have any emphasis on. I mean, Malcolm Kuntz is good. I mean, you beat Bowl baby. Uh, but
Potential defensive rookie of the
potential defensive rookie of the year,
year.
yeah. Add some more depth for the edge rusher position. It's just there. The interior of that defensive line isn't too solid. Linebacker core not that great. Drafted three safeties. I don't think the safeties are that good. The secondary is that great. Uh, it's going to come down, I think, to Lamar Jackson throwing the ball. If he can throw the ball well, I don't think this will be much of a game. I don't even. Yeah, he just has to throw it well. He doesn't have to throw it great because if Marquise Brown can go back to his college form and create the separation, which I mean that's a big if. Uh and I just remembered they got an ace up their sleeve.
Yeah,
They got
Sammy
week one
Watkins.
they got week one Sammy Watkins.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so they have guys that could create separation and they're not going up against the best secondary in the NFL. So Lamar is going to be if Lamar can hit open guys, I see them winning this game without a problem. But I do agree that the zone runs that they like, the read options, they're going to get 5 yards off of it when normally they would get 12, 15 off of it.
On a
And
big
Lamar,
play. On a big
all
play
eyes,
of them.
yes, on a big play, and all eyes are going to be on Lamar. Like they're going to be playing the option almost every handoff now. Not like every team is, but it's we have to adjust. No, just look at Lamar, and I don't care what this special teams running back does.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. We talked through it, and I wasn't planning to do it before. But I'm gonna be wrong about other games this week. The thing I will feel most stupid about is being able to lay out this foundation for all these things working against the Ravens and what is working for the Raiders, and then still picking Baltimore to see Baltimore lose. I will feel so much worse about that than if I pick the Raiders and Baltimore still wins because I know Baltimore is a good team. So here, I know I didn't say it in terms of in terms of the predictions for Sunday's episodes, but I'm going with the Raiders in this game because I don't want to look at this and say you said all of that and then you still picked Baltimore, so I'm going to pick the Raiders.
Okay, score prediction for it though. We got the Raiders now.
Well, I said their offense would be slowed, and I think that the Raiders' offense can still move the ball fairly well. So 30-24.
30-24. Okay. Well, I'm still gonna rock with the Ravens, but I don't think it's going to be as high scoring of an affair as I think it's going to be. 16-5.
That's good. That's good. I like that score
They're going to be
prediction.
able to get in the backfield because the handoff is going to be messed up after a coffin corner punt, and they're going to get a safety off of it.
Who's the
So
Raiders punter?
I know that Ray Guy was, and he was the king of the coffin corner. So
Don't worry, I can't name him either. It's just funny that you're saying they're gonna have a coffin corner punt and we don't even know who their punter is. It's
well,
okay.
I'll know after he does that.
We will know after he does that. All right. Well, I hope we get a safety just so that you can be right about that.
Yeah,
Okay. You all set?
yeah. I think we can cut this here.